Good morning, welcome back to my channel. I'm probably going to break this up into a couple of shorts, so I'm probably going to go long. So if you enjoy it, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to show you the kitty really quick. He hopefully is going to go to sleep, but he doesn't like when I'm on the phone, so he may decide to wake up and attack me at any moment. He's a hoot and a half. I love him. Oh my goodness, and he's doing great. Um, Also, I have horrible news that just set my anxiety through the roof, but I hugged my cat and I shake it off. I believe in God with all of my heart. I believe He has a plan. This didn't work out. Something else will. There's always a reason. And something else will come along. It's just hurtful and anxiety provoking. I was basically interviewed for the second time to go back to work at a company I worked for. Um, I was put on the schedule, basically going for orientation Friday. Everything was fine. I got an email this morning followed by a text message. I am so sorry. You're not eligible for rehire at this time. Well, like, what does that mean? Like, I'm temporarily not allowed for rehire, or do they have to look into it, or do I need to do something because I didn't do anything wrong? When I left corporate, it was because I am 5'2". I am 49 years old. At the time I was working there, I was 47, and a 26-year-old man who is 6'4", and I mean, I had gastric bypass surgery. I'm 145 pounds, but I was, obviously, if you have gastric bypass surgery, you're much heavier. And yes, I was very heavy, and I'm not throwing shade, but he was 6'4" and 230 pounds. I mean, and he cornered me and started screaming at me that there was trash in the trash cans. I had changed all the trash. I literally went and took photos of it. He screamed at me. There wasn't a trash bag that was even half full. And he was acting like it was like overflowing. I mean, it's a 7-Eleven with a gas station. There's 12 pumps. There's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15 trash cans. Not a single one was overflowing. All of them had been changed. Some of them were completely empty, and he screamed at me. And it was like snowing out, like, you know what I mean? So, like, I had done it in the snow, and he still, like, threw a fit. And it scared me half to death because he would not stop screaming at me. I couldn't get my purse. I couldn't get out of there. Like, he had cornered me. And it's on videotape. So I got physically sick. I started throwing up. Basically, it was coming out both ends. I'm sure it was from the massive anxiety attack that I had. And so I went to the ER. They gave me something for the nausea, something to try to settle my stomach. Um, and, I came home. And so I had a doctor's note from the hospital. I was off for a few days. And then when she messaged me, hey, are you going to be coming back on Friday, or do I need to get coverage? I said, what is going on? Is he still working there? And she's like, well, he and his wife were both working there. They both called off. And she's like, I can't fire him legally over the phone. I have to wait till he comes in. And I said, I am afraid. I'm afraid for my safety. I don't feel comfortable, and I think that's legitimate. I went in and spoke to her. We watched the video. I explained what was being said. She could see him, like, and I've got my back against the corner, and he's blocking the only way out. And I was afraid, like, how did I do anything wrong? I mean, I was so sick, I went to the hospital. Like, I was so upset and so scared. My husband obviously was ferociously angry, and he wanted to handle it. I have 2 sons, and one of whom was like, 15 at the time. He's like, I'll go, get some of my friends and we'll go take care. I'm like, do not get involved. My oldest son, who was like 22 at the time, wanted to go, take a hockey stick and say hi to him. But, none of that went down. I just said, I don't feel safe. So how on earth am I not eligible for rehire? And then I was hired by franchise, worked there for months. And I left because I ended up in the hospital sick. My daughter was in the hospital, and my mother was being discharged from the nursing home, not able to walk. And we were short-staffed. I was going to have 2 weeks off work to recover. That's what the hospital mandated. They're like, you need to see your doctor, but you're going to need 2 weeks off. We're going to write you off for, I think they could write me off for 72 hours. see your primary care or else return to us, but do not go back to work. I was so sick. I don't think I left my bed for 3 days other than to go to the bathroom. And my husband was bringing me protein shakes. I mean, I was so weak. And I was losing my balance. Like in the emergency room, I could barely walk. My potassium was like below what will support life. I mean, it was like life threatening. They said I was lucky I went to the hospital and didn't go to bed because I had such a headache. And they said you probably would have died. I mean, it was that low. So I needed time to recover. They only had 3 employees besides me. So, like, that left one person on days, one person on afternoons, one person on midnight, 7 days a week. How was I? And so the owner was like, I can't give you the time off. Again, I'm under doctor's note. That's not my fault. You don't have the staff. We had tried to hire, but they weren't paying enough to get people to take the job. It's not my fault. I was under. And she had said franchise is separate. Now, I know that it's leaving corporate next month and it's going back to franchise. So next month I can apply to the new owners and it's a whole separate company. So, and I might get a job somewhere else that works out much better because honestly, there are places I'd like to apply that are like mall hours. And that way you don't get stuck there till, 10 p.m. and then the midnight person doesn't show up and you're there till 6 a.m. It doesn't happen in stores that aren't open 24 hours, so I think, so that's kind of catching up on what's going on in my personal life and my family dynamics and how we're dealing with things as we are just praying through it and staying strong and, doing what we have to do. And like I said, I look to my cat and the fact that, he's a kitten, he's had to have a leg amputated. And, he runs around and he's living his best life. He's curled up in a little snuggly blanket right now. This is his favorite thing on earth. This little, I don't want him to see it because he's sleeping, but you can see he's tearing it up. I barely know how to crochet, but he doesn't care if the stitches look even. So I got a bunch of yarn. I'm going to figure out how to, I can chain, do the tail. And then just figure out how to make something that I can, little square piece of material I can sew together and, stuff with something to make for him. That'll be fun. And it's stuff I have here. So, and I have a whole bunch of toys. My neighbor brought over a whole box and food. He's so generous, like I said, God provides. Just look around and be grateful for what you have. I try to always remember. Are there things about my life that I'd like to change? Yes. Would I like to have money to remodel the house and do this and do that? Yes, I would. Would I like to be able to put a wheelchair ramp in for my mother? Would I like to be able to get her an electric scooter so she could go out and see the neighbors? Yes, I would love to have the money to do that. But you know what? I have chronic pain, but it's managed. I woke up and I'm breathing and I'm able to walk and I have, air conditioning. I have a fan that's on me right now. The ability to get online and talk. So I try to keep my mind like in the things I do have, rather than looking around and going, man, I'd like to remodel this and I wish I had this and I wish I had that. And it's like, you don't get happiness from that, man. You get happiness from saying, look, I look at the things I do have, and I get great joy in that. I watch a lot of YouTube videos about, people reacting to other people's situations and like cultural differences and like, man, they're so lucky. And it's usually the people that are saying you're lucky are people that are not American looking at things that we have. But I'm going to show you the kitty really quick because he's sleeping. But he's gonna, he's so cute. I can't see it at the same time, so I'm just gonna, I don't want to wake him up though, but there we go. There he is. Oh, don't open your little eyes, buddy. So that's how little baby's doing. He's sleeping. You can kind of see the scar. It's healing though. So that's an update on him. Nothing with him playing right now, sadly. There are some updates in true crime that I want to hit on really quick. There's updates in the David case. They were back in court. And Ashley Banfield was going over some of the stuff that went on. And, Apparently her face was like melted off from the heat and the bacteria, and her family didn't have warning, so like they were wailing. I mean, because I mean, can you imagine not getting warning and then all of a sudden your child's dismembered body is shown on a big screen? And so they had to call a recess so the family could get it together. Obviously, I mean, I know when they were going to show things that weren't as graphic at the Charlie Kirk preliminary hearing, the family was given warning, you know, to leave the courtroom for, you know, images that were disturbing to them. Apparently, it wasn't done in this case. You know, different courts have different policies. So that's kind of what's going on that. I did do an episode about some updates in the Lynette Hooker case. Brian Hooker's stepmom came on, Surviving the Survivor. If you want to catch that, Joel is great, and he got a scoop and brought this woman on. Did a great interview with her. She is Brian Hooker's stepmother, married to his father for 40 years. His father recently passed, so she had some good information. So if you have any interest in the Lynette Hooker situation, my husband just came in and gave him a hug and kiss to the baby. And Smokey like popped his head up and then just licked his feet and went back to sleep. He's such a good boy. But so anyway, if you have any interest in the Lynette Hooker case, check out Joel at Surviving the Survivor. He did a great interview. He's done several interviews with some of the Hooker's friends from the sailing world. It's a great YouTube channel, great podcast. Yeah, and then I gave you the updates in the David case, and I know there's updates in the Lindsay Clancy thing. I'm not covering that. As a mom who I have some issues with like PMS, and like where I have told my children like you cannot like talk to me for the next like 12 hours because I'm not normal, you know, and they've seen me like blow up and stuff when I've had my periods. So dealing with that, I just got on birth control that limits my periods to barely ever. And as long as I'm not working with women who are cycling all the time, I'm pretty okay. You know, it is what it is. You have to find a way to deal with it. That situation breaks my heart because she was really having post-birth psychosis and may not have known what she was doing, the consequences, you know, and she's paralyzed and the kids are dead. And I mean, it's just horrible all the way around. So I am not covering that. I can't. There's like, for whatever reason, the Celeste case, I just don't know what justice is in that other situation. And maybe she's lying, maybe she's not. I don't know. That's a case that I just can't, you know, I just can't cover that. It's too heartbreaking for me. And I know there is movement within the Monique and Spencer Tepe case. I know that is moving forward. Like, you know, I don't know when the trial is going to be. I do need to look into that, but I know there's always hearings going on and motions in limine and stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't hear about. But yeah, so that's kind of an update on what is going on in true crime right now, what is going on with Smokey Jacks, and what is going on with me. I am disappointed, to say the least. I was so looking forward to going back to work, and it was part-time, but it was weekends, it was, you know, day shift. You know, I used to work Sundays there for, you know, that was a shift I worked all the time because I have weekend availability and I like day shift. So, you know, and some people do not want to have to be at work at 6 a.m. I do, you know, works great. I'm off at 2. I got the rest of my day to do stuff. You know, because that way if you have doctor's appointments, you can make them at 3 o'clock, 3:30, and, you know, still get home in time to see your kids, you know. I don't know. It's disappointing, but it is what it is. Like I said, there's other places I can apply, and, you know, like I said, it's just disappointing. That's all. But anyway, please like, share, and subscribe. I'm going to post this as one long video under my video column. And then I'm also going to break it up into a couple shorts and post it that way too. So thanks for watching, and I hope everyone has a blessed day. Please like, share, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and I will see you again with updates on, you know, my anxiety, which, considering everything going on, is good. Why are you waking the baby? He was not up. He was sleeping. Well, my husband just woke the baby because that's what he does. Where are you taking him? Oh, God. Okay, I have to go. We're taking him to see my mother. So, anyway, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.